Seeing if I can hear myself. Anything coming through? Hello. Right now I'm just working on I'm working on a creature design for a kind of like a wizard who's been mutated beyond like I guess hard to describe it. Yeah, just a wizard who's gone way too far with magic to the point where they've mutated into some beast. Right now I'm still in the ideation phase. I have like a pretty good idea of how I want this to look. Um, Mainly like this picture that I drew up, but I'm just drawing it from some different angles to see how it looks, just to make sure it looks good in the way that I want to look at it. Yeah, I love Monster Garden. Hello. Yeah, I've been meaning to stream more, but it's just hard to find I guess, the motivation sometimes. Like, I love drawing, but like, I'm not really someone who talks a whole lot, I guess. So the idea of streaming is always a little intimidating. Hey, thanks. I'm trying not to put too much pressure to make this one look like perfect or anything. It's just to get like an idea on the page so that if I want to make like a full piece. Oh, thank y'all. That means a lot. Yeah, I've actually been thinking more about the world and what I want to do with it lately. Like, it kind of just started as a big, you know, world building project for the sake of world building and finding stuff to draw. And I still like having it as that. But, I started thinking, like, do I want to make a book, comics, games? Like, where do I want to go with this? Here, this guy's fingers are nice and rendered. I do love drawing some long, crooked fingers. Nice. Glad to have you here. For a while, when I was looking at world building projects, I was kind of wanting to go in the direction of like a big war for the, I guess, the setting time frame. I thought that would be pretty cool. But I brought it up in the Discord, in the Monster Garden Discord, to just get some ideas and feedback, and it has been done a lot. Not that it's like a bad thing to do, uh, like wars as a backdrop, because it's really cool. Um, but I guess that I'd like to go in a different direction, try and find something a little bit different. Um, I have been leaning toward a post-war setting. Like maybe I can have like, I can have a lot of war monsters and war creatures, but like after the war, and it all almost becomes like a post-apocalyptic horror setting where these monsters meant for war are still roaming. Yes, Horizon. I'm on Krita. Canvas every now and then. Yeah, me too. Um, I've been playing Stalker 2 a bit lately, and it's super fun, and I love the setting, the anomalies, just all the crazy crap happening. I just wish that my I wish that it I wish the game were a little bit better optimized. I mean, I get it's like brand new. The developers, they need time to iron out the kinks, but I want to play it like really bad. Thank you. Yeah, that's definitely what like was one of my biggest inspirations. Dark Souls, Elden Ring, Bloodborne, everything from Software is just so good. Like really quiet. Let's see if I can do something about that. I got the mic kind of far away from me. Is this any better? Hey, nice. Yeah, I'm very much workshopping this as I go. I've only ever streamed one time, and like getting the tech to work is, I mean, it works, but I guess getting used to it is kind of hard for me. So definitely let me know if you guys notice any issues, and I'll fix them. I've been doing a lot of grayscale, black and white coloring lately. I started getting like really stressed out with coloring and saturation and color theory in general. Oh yeah, I definitely appreciate letting me know if anything's wrong with the stream. You know, like criticism is a good tool. What do you stream, Horizon? I've been drawing, I mean, on and off ever since I was a kid, you know, like really young. So maybe like, you know, with breaks here and there, maybe like 15 years. God, I'm old. I'm 25. I'm not like, you know, but bones, but you know, like 15 years maybe on and off. Let's see. Soft or hard magic? I'm trying to remember the difference. I mean, let's see. Can you like, I guess, oh, let me look it up. The difference between hard and soft magic. Definitely more of a hard magic system. Um, if you go to my magic system video, it actually describes it a little bit more. Although the more I write and the more I draw, the more I'm like maybe it's a little bit more mysterious than people know, you know? Um, like kind of like that Lovecraftian you're only scratching the surface of like a vast sea of knowledge. Like, you know, sorry to give like such a long-winded answer, but yeah, it's like hard magic on the surface, but with like a lot of mysterious possibilities. Oh wow, that's insane. Like I never really considered like having to learn something like that all over again. Like I don't know, is it really hard? Like, or is it I don't know, kind of nice like going back into it, falling back in love with it? Right, I see, I see. It's not the same, but I always do like speaking of like relearning, I always make sure when I'm doing something like dangerous that I use my offhand so that if I somehow lose a hand, like I'll still have my drawing hand. I used to work at a library, and whenever I had to reach in like our book drop box for returned books, I'd reach in my left hand because sometimes snakes would get inside of it. And I'm like, yeah, if I get like bit by a copperhead, I'd rather lose my offhand. Which I mean, I guess is kind of obvious, but like, you know. Okay. This is like coming together kind of neat. If I could start over, I'd maybe make the hands a bit smaller. Um, he actually still is an albumancer. He's just like been. He can still cast spells. He's just been like super mutated to the point where he does not like. He's not really a person anymore. Like this is something like this can happen if you go way overboard with consuming white matter and you know casting spells. God, yeah, I need to start. I need to try drawing with my left hand. I did it a bit in school, um, but it was like I tried the offhand learning for a bit. I guess I kind of just didn't keep up with it. Yeah. Uh, no, this probably sucks. I mean, I haven't thought much about his feelings, like his own feelings toward it. Um, I guess I imagine like if you let it get to this point, you're pretty devoted to, you know, the White Sun and the Empire and magic in general. Like I see this as like during the war that did occur, this is like a renowned beast of the battlefield. Like and it still roams like the old battlefields, just dragging itself, kind of like aimless. I've been treating it at almost like a dragon, so it would like blast the white fire, the Combustio rune. But I've also been trying to think outside the box with it. Like maybe when you become this mutated and you go this far with it, that's when you start tapping into unknown abilities, unknown powers. So I was thinking, what if this creature had some sort of hypnosis ability? Like if it sees you, it can cast something that just makes you become ensnared, so it can like make its way to you and maybe eat you. I mean, I don't know if it would like. I still need to figure out like is this thing? It looks like a carnivore. It looks like it wants to eat you, but why would it? Why would it eat somebody? Like, is there any point to that? Protein, I guess. Maybe it's just like the effect that white matter and the white sun has on human beings after such a long time is that they grow more feral. I don't know if it was a character. I haven't come up with like any character for it beforehand, but I have been calling it the Pale Drake in its design, like in its current design. As for a base design, um, yeah, I got something that would work, like sort of like a base album answer post war. I think this guy, like I imagine, like maybe for a bit he looked something like this. Thank you. Thank you. I try. Um, Sometimes I feel like I guess the style I choose is like kind of aimless, if that makes sense. Or like I feel like I don't have very many like go-to strategies when it comes to drawing. I kind of just do what feels right. Well, I like, and I kind of like this drawing. Like, it's kind of cool, but I don't think this is gonna end up being like the final design for the creature. And maybe that's just because I need to come up with better lore for it. Like, what does it want? Like, how does it behave? Um, I guess if there was like survivors out in an old battlefield, like what, like why would this thing want to attack them? Chris Cold, huh? Let's see. Let me look this guy up. Man, but this guy's art is so good. I really appreciate that. It's like a very big compliment. Ooh, there's an idea. Like territorial as in like an animal, like an animalistic way, like marking its territory, or like it still remembers the war and it's still back in the war, like mentally. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, we're gonna. This is a bit of an ideation page, so PTSD. The, the canvas. Oh, it's chest day every day. He lives in a constant state of push-ups. Yeah. Still back in the war. So, question is, what would something like this do in a war? So, we don't have to go super in depth with it, but if you guys have seen any of the videos on like the Silver Folk and Zilvrin, that's like, and the witches, which I'm working on and off on a comic about it, about the witches. That's who Alconia went to war with, like the undead. I kind of have them looking so drastically mutated and doing this because like they started losing the war. The Albumancer started losing the war, so they turned to really drastic measures to change themselves to become just these like beasts of war. Don't really have a name for the war yet. Been trying to think about it a bit. Maybe something like the War of the Witches. I don't know. That might be a decent placeholder. Just like the idea of the head, like the face beginning to peek out. And I don't know, it kind of like this design kind of echoes like the White Sun design that I have, where it's just like a ring with a bunch of like these finger like appendages coming out. And like I imagine all these bits and fingers are like um the relics that go on the back of the mages' heads kind of overtaking Witch War. Yes, the Witch War. That's what I said. Just make it very sinewy. Not worrying too much about the back area in this piece. Um, the base design, like over here, um, the like the chalices that they keep, which are basically like, mana, because you can't like keep in this world you can't keep mana inside of you. It has to be externally stored, and then like through a tube go into the back of your head and out of your eyes. That's how casting is done. So he just keeps a ludicrous amount of chalices on his back that are just weighing him down. That's why he can't stand up. So they're just like being drugged behind him. That's a good question. I I don't know right off. I can figure it out probably. Yeah, I don't. I'm not sure. Crushed skull, but this guy's skull. Get rid of that pupil. We don't need it right now. Just get this skull looking more skull-like. Oh, thank you. I spend too much time thinking about this. Alrighty. That's kind of neat. Of course, naturally, when I flip the canvas, it's going to look like poop. What kind of nose is that? It worked. This is okay. That is a good question, Zhao. Um, oh no, I guess that I imagined that this creature, along with a lot of other ones, kind of at this point when you've got it's like an addiction. You need white matter and chalices to survive. So maybe it just goes out and collects them itself. But that would also imply that it's like kind of intelligent, like intelligent enough at like right now to do that. Which I mean, which is fine. Yeah, I guess that it just like maybe it like pulls them off of corpses in the battlefields, like corpses of albimancers. We've also been thinking about like a different kind of creature, like a living portal almost, where like if you guys saw, I believe it was my magic system video or the Empire video, it went over like the white gate being where like all mana flows. Well, maybe like with uh all of this extreme mutation going on, what if some of the albimancers themselves eventually turned into wells of mana, like wells of white matter, became like living portals, immobile. Oh yeah, this thing is like a hound. Also imagine like a lot of eyes maybe like around here on the inside. Like if you play Bloodborne, like Ludwig, how he appears, like that second head with all the eyes in the mouth. Yeah, it's coming together. This is something. I don't have a good explanation as to why his hands are being like in. As for why he walks on his hands this way, I just thought it was like a neat thing that like further alienates it from a regular person. Hey, thank you. Glad to have you on board. Hyperdontia? Let me look that up. I looked it up. Yeah. Except like rather than being genetic, it's like a mutation. I assume that that hyperdontia is genetic. That's how it appears. It's hard to tell whether he should have like. Yeah, I like the black eyes better. What languages are there in Torun? Uh yeah, I guess that there's probably like a common tongue. I don't have like a name for it or anything, but just we'll call it common. But then you have like probably older languages that exist in different like different territories. Like in the Empire, like I imagine that there's like a lot of like I guess like a higher language, like a like High Gothic from 40K, something like that. It's like ancient Alconian would be like a language that I've alluded to. The black eyes are just better. Hmm. Yes, many fingers. Like naughty. I really need to look at reference. Like I got up these references. Hmm. His loved ones, huh? Well, the Empire is very zealotous, so I could see them kind of like pushing through like their I guess sadness and horror and just say like, oh, this like like sure we've lost him like as a husband, as a father, but he's become something so much bigger. He's been touched by God. I absolutely see what you mean. I've been seeing it too. This is a very special creature. It doesn't just kill you, it gives you the finger. Yeah, at this point, like I'm kind of just having fun with it. I'm not like even thinking too much about what I'm doing here. I don't know, maybe it's like kind of webbed here and there. Let's see. Yeah, that's kind of neat. Now we'll just group all those elements. And just because I want to try something. Nope, just needs eyes. Eyes and mana. kind of like I guess, how can I put it? Draw a little sketch. So you've got these chalices that are full of mana, which is used to cast spells. It goes in a tube to the back of someone's head, and then they can fire spells out of their eyes. So yeah, like purely mental. Let's see. Sometimes I like to just add a bit of shadow over the final piece just to see like how it'll look. Can usually draw attention to like a lot of other places like this. Just go over the whole thing. This is kind of like a cheat where I draw the viewer's eye where I want them to. So like I made those highlights and those already draw attention, but maybe I want to be even more precise with it and make it even more dramatic. So I'll just go over it with like a watercolor brush like that and come in with a kneaded eraser tool and something like this. It really like help, and I'm gonna add it to different places, but it really helps draw the eye to certain areas that you choose. Even like the eyes here, I can go in and highlight every single one. I don't know why I'm deciding to just give like a little lesson on this. Can also create like more I guess volume, more dimension with this method. Well, like adding a different color for the eyes other than white, you mean? It's a little strong, so I don't know. I can play with the opacity a little bit. That's kind of cool. If every eye is a different color, um, Yeah, I mean, I'd have to see how it looks like from a design perspective. Wouldn't hurt to add a bit of shadow to this. It's like under here. Just a little something. Doesn't have to be perfect. That's kind of cool. What if there was like a oh no, like a few teeth just like coming through. Not even really going to be able to tell that from zoomed out, but it's kind of cool. Just drawing over it, blending this in a bit. Don't need it to be that striking. It's almost like there's like a thin layer of skin over it. It's kind of cool. Have this all on this one layer just so I can work on some other poses and whatnot. Here are actually a few other versions I did. Thank you. I was referencing like crawling zombies as well. This was a bit of a different take on it where instead of, the head being kind of like in the middle here, the head like split open at the jaw and this big eye like comes out and it casts from this eye. And it's still kind of cool. I might do something else with that concept, but I've definitely been leaning more toward the the head inside a mouth idea. Work a bit on this, just like adding a bit of color to it, just see how it turns out. Maybe I'll do both. Maybe why not? Just adding some shading. I'm not like holding myself to any like big finished project yet. It's just getting comfortable with the monster. Yeah, just like this. I love this muddied watercolor look. Sometimes I like to add like a pixelated filter above the stuff. Kind of reminds me of like Vermis by Plastaboo or some other like just retro video games in general. I have no mouth and I must scream. That is too big a brush. Want the viewer's attention on this mouth mainly. Maybe a bit on the hand. A little bit of the arm. Makes sense. Tubes will probably catch a bit of light. Maybe this arm. Same with this. Like different poses technically, but all very much like catching the same feeling. Just being very like non committal with it right now. I mean, even this can like even I feel like this even looks like a little better than it did before. Just with like that little bit of lighting added. This makes it a lot more dramatic. Now over the line art. It's like should it be bright in there? Should it be bright inside? Maybe the eye is bright. That works for me. Just like some of the tubes from the back, kind of like going into this, like wrapping around whatever this appendage is. Yeah, the skull's gonna need some work. Maybe. There we go. We got one of these hoses inserting right here in this area. Kind of like wrapping behind the shoulder. Before we go any further, make the mouth a bit more dark. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Oh yeah, that's kind of freaky. He's got a few like little holes. There we go. There, like even if I don't go with this creature, I don't think I'm gonna go with this design. I still like kind of dig it. This guy's yucky. He's got some big teeth too. Mm-hmm. We'll go with like a little highlight on the rims here. Man. Pulls on the other side. Move on to this guy. Very scribbly. Oh yeah. Um, I definitely want to do more lore videos. Um, I have also like been wanting to, like I've been working on and off on a comic. Um, I guess I'm just kind of stuck on like the next lore video that I want to make. I'm like, I could do something on like the witches, which would make sense considering they were in the war. Um, but I also kind of want to go into the post-war already. But I'll probably write on the witches and then move on to like the after-war stuff. The witches are the necromancers of the setting. Let's see. I actually have some artwork of the witches if you guys would like to see. Because I don't think I've really posted much about them. It's mainly like the silver folk. Here's something that I started on. I'm probably not going to finish it, but this is like a crucified witch after the war. Thank you. If I could find that other one. I like the other one better. There we go. I don't think so. I guess I didn't think about it too much, but it's probably like it's probably dead at that point. Here's a witch piece I was working on. They are thick. Uh, Ideally, they are. That's how they prefer. That's like the form they prefer to take. This is like my first shot at rendering a like a really powerful witch. This is also the point where I started like where I kind of started drawing more in black and white and grayscale because I'm like, this is hard. Drawing in color's hard. I imagine that a witch like this is like at their peak. I kind of write the witches to be like the more powerful they grow, the more they swell up. It's like they're full of necrotic energy. Um, but you know, when they went to war, they started to slim down a bit. War does a number on you. I don't know if I have any more witch stuff other than that. Well, I have this tiny little sketch I was just having fun with. Thank you. Yeah, so maybe once I'm done like designing this creature, I'll move on to the lore video. Um, oh, thank you. I really try. I really fear. I guess like not really. I don't want to say like ripping people off, but like doing something kind of like cliche. I try to like stay away from that. It's just hard. Like I feel like everything's been done already. I really want to try streaming some more. Because like it's always so intimidating to do, like to start doing it, but then like once I'm in it, it's just fine. And it also like a lot of times when I go to draw, I have an issue where I listen to like YouTube, or like I have to put on like the perfect YouTube video, but I can never find the perfect YouTube video, so I'm like constantly not drawing, trying to find a good video. But this kind of like keeps me. I guess the streaming kind of forces me to draw, which is a good thing. Yeah. Um, I've got like people who I watch their videos like as soon as they're released, like Monster Garden. Obviously, I'm like always love his stuff. Um, Other world builders, Baron, he has a really good channel. Like a apocalypse. It seems like nuclear apocalypse World War I, and I love his videos. Um, let's see what else. Video essays. That's a good one to put on. Jacob Geller or something. Um, but the problem is the video ends, and then I have to find another video. Um, I should go back to listening to watching like Critical Role or something, just so I can like have it playing in the background, and I don't even have to like mess with it. Just have a playlist going of all the videos. 40K in 40 minutes is also really good. Play on tabletop if you're into tabletop games, because they're 40 minutes long. That's enough to just have something playing in the background. So I've been thinking of for like upcoming videos. I've been thinking about, instead of doing it where it's completely in the view, I guess, from the perspective of the record keeper, I'll just do like a snippet at the beginning where it's like the record keeper going over his notes, and then maybe in the latter part of the video, I'll talk more about the design and I guess the inspirations, and that'll be just me. I don't know. How does that sound to you guys? Would that kind of break the immersion too much? Video game essays are great. Yeah. Um. Yeah. I guess like that part might be more. I guess the part where it's like just me talking would be less lore and more objective stuff about the world and designing the world. And I don't know, sometimes it's nice to like not have the pressure of like trying to portray a character while also delivering like information about the world. Sometimes I have to stop myself in my writing and I'm like, why would the record keeper know this? Okay. I've done just about all I want to with these guys I have. Um, I think I want to start a little bit of work on the witches. Just a little bit though, and then I'll probably have to head out. I've got a pretty clear idea of how I like the witches to look. I guess in the past I went with a lot more of like a round design. And you know, that's cool. I like that. But that like this rotund body is reserved for only the most powerful witches. So like most witches are probably a bit more long. I've also been working with like long necks. That's kind of like a cool design. Throughout the whole process of working on the witches, I've always kept their helmets more or less the same. I just have like this idea where like almost like a bird cage. You know, it's kind of like um I guess symbolism of how they got their power by killing a bird god. And that I don't even know if I've like gone over that a whole lot, but like just in the whole mythology of the necromancers and how they got their power, they their leader killed the previous god of death, who happened to be like a bird creature. There are not many witches as well. It's like mainly, I guess, like lesser witches or like witches thralls that do all the they did all the fighting in the war. The witches are like incredibly powerful, more powerful than an albeman than like your average albemancer, I imagine. Which is saying something because like the albemancers are pretty strong, but there are much less of them than albemancers. I always draw the witches with like this hanging stomach, where like just this black necrotic gas pours out from. Have this black rib cage like chest piece. Oh, thank you. I hate listening to my own voice, but I'm happy that you're enjoying it. It means a lot. The witches also like to impale themselves with like pikes and sharp rods, almost like parodying life itself. Like, we're undead. This is what we think is pretty. Yeah, I have heard that's a big thing. Like, I'm cool with my voice when I'm hearing it real time. It's just when I hear it recorded, it's like there's no bass. I sound so much cooler in my own head. Top of that, add a bit of feathers. The witches love vultures. Undead. At least, well, sorry. The witches are undead. Um, I'm sure that one can learn necromancy even if they're not undead. I think it's just like a choice that the witches make. Maybe it means they become more powerful. The black miasma just like pours out from the stomach like that and into the ground, and I imagine like corpses rising and hands coming from the ground. This very like bountiful pose, like very, I guess, like kind of like religious connotations to it. Like, look at this power of rebirth that our goddess has given us. Let's make this one bigger. Oh, what? There we go. What the? I don't know what that was. Big. Better. Also, this is also just to get ideas on the page. I think I want to draw this one capeless or no fur mantle. There's just like uh no pauldrons. It's just like the flesh kind of just like the flesh and the fat kind of just like pressing up against it, like sticking out. Guess I could do that with like the neck too, huh? I also imagine like this barbed wire kind of like holding the stomach open. It's kind of gross. It's a little gross. This should be moved down a little bit. Let's just merge those. Maybe like that. See how that looks. Kind of looks like a princess. She's so pretty. No, I just know that like she could beat the crap out of someone. Like the witches are not just like necromancer, like wizard, headstrong. They are like beef. Some of them are like beefy. Barbed wire around like the wrists. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, you're so right. If this ever becomes a game, I swear I will not put them in my game as much as Godskin Duo or in Elden Ring. Wire. They're like the witches are big masochists. They love pain. Just make that connect right there. The traps. God. Yeah, it almost looks like she's just ready to like bust out of the chess piece. This is kind of cool. It's so the like the hole in the stomach is where like this black miasma pours out from, and then once it hits the ground, creature like the undead begin to rise. Like corpses will rise as it enters into them. This could be the same witch too. Like before war, after war. Noticeably weaker. Yeah, me too. I try to like keep the sketchiness in the work that I do. It's just hard. It's hard. Oh, they lost. They lost the war. Um, they probably like so they're so big because they have this you know this stuff inside of them, this black like this black smoke. Um, but if they like overexert themselves and like cast too much and raise too much dead, they'll like get almost like malnourished. And I imagine that this kind of mass here on her took decades to like achieve. Yeah, the setting is definitely like a fall from like disgusting grace. Like things weren't good before the war, but like nothing is as powerful as it once was. Everything is just kind of tired now. Just all right. Well, I think I'm gonna call it there. Uh, this was fun. I want to stream again sometime soon. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I will see you guys in the next time.